So Ben, it's interesting that you mentioned Luigi because my all-time favorite Nintendo character, as I'm sure you will all be shocked to hear, is Waluigi. Waluigi,
I had
as a
something
character,
for this, but it's gone.
is humankind's greatest accomplishment. Drops mic, Healy's off into the sense.
You're not going to go into your litany of game ideas for Waluigi?
Oh, I have a million of them, but we would need to devote another hour and a half podcast to that.
Yeah, no, Waluigi, underutilized, because he really only appears in the spin-offs.
He really is. Well, what I love so much about Waluigi is, like, he's a parody of himself. A lot of people think that Waluigi just has, like, no character because he's just stupid, like, trash. He's, like, an anti-hero version of Mario's lesser self when they already made an anti-hero version of Mario, and, like, it's all these weird things that just make Waluigi, like, basically useless. But the thing about Waluigi is Nintendo, when they're animating him and characterizing him and everything, they know that. They know he's like the worst idea ever. And they play that up so much, and it's so like snarky and fun, and they make him just so ridiculously nutty and obnoxious and just so much fun.
Well, even his character design, it's like, who thought of this? Who greenlit this idea?
Right?
Like, he's completely lanky, doesn't match the proportions of any other Mario character.
Mm-hmm. But that's part of why I love him so much, is because he just is so, I mean...
He's kind of like the Mario equivalent of Deadpool, where he's just so intentionally over-the-top as just, like, a parody of over-the-top characters.
Right, no, absolutely. And, like, almost all he ever says is, wah! Like, there's a reason for that. They're not just doing that because they're bad at writing Waluigi. They're doing that because they know he's terrible, and the more he says, wah, the funnier it gets. So, I love Waluigi. I think he's just so much fun. He's lanky and ugly and better than Wario in every way, specifically because they're trying to make him absurd, whereas Wario is like...
He was originally the anti-Mario.
Right, and he's gross and unappealing to an extent that he's like an actual character. Waluigi is gross and unappealing to the extent that he's a caricature.
Yeah.
And that, I think, makes all the difference, is why I love Waluigi so, so much. Especially that crotch chop in Mario Strikers. So funny. When Waluigi makes it into Smash Bros. 5 or 6 or whatever, that better be a taunt.
Signature move.
Hello everybody, thank you for listening to this Nintendo Week clip, NWC. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to us here on YouTube for more highlights and discussion videos from Nintendo Week podcast, or subscribe to us on iTunes for weekly breakdowns of all your Nintendo news, discussion segments on subjects, games, and more, and tons of other features. Thanks for listening, and we will see you tomorrow with another NWC.